This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for January 5, 2023, 2 construction workers killed, 1 injured in Westmoreland shooting. The Westmoreland police have commenced an investigation into the shooting deaths of 2 men and the wounding of another at a construction site in Betheltown, Westmoreland on Wednesday. One of the deceased has been identified as 48-year-old Lepster Barrett of a Westmoreland address, while the other remains unidentified but is said to be from St. James. The police say about 4:40 p.m. the workers were at the construction site when a group of armed men entered the premises. The gunmen opened fire on the construction workers, hitting all 3 men, and then escaped. The police were summoned, and upon arrival, the 3 injured men were rushed to the Savannah Lamar Hospital, where 2 of the men were pronounced dead, and the other admitted in serious condition. Indicom probes Doulas' son's death. The Independent Commission of Investigations is probing the New Year's Day shooting death by security forces of 21-year-old Noel Douglas, son of recording artist Angel Doulas. An investigation has been launched into the shooting. It is one of 2 fatal shootings on that day. We are awaiting an autopsy from the government pathologist, said an Indicom representative who requested anonymity. Angel Doulas, who is currently in the United States, says he remains optimistic that justice will prevail. I'm hoping for the best. I don't really have any confidence in the system, but may remain optimistic, he told the news on Wednesday. According to a report from the police's corporate communications unit, Douglas was shot and killed by soldiers after he fired shots into the air in an alleged gun salute on Balcom Drive in the Olympic Gardens community in St. Andrew about 12:27 a.m. on January 1. A Sig Sauer 9mm handgun with 10 rounds and 2 12-gauge cartridges were also seized during the incident. Angel Doulas, known for the hit single Fitness featuring Bounty Killer, said he was more concerned about the results of the impending autopsy. The authorities could take a long time to release the body for the funeral, and that means that the pain will stretch out longer. But I am more concerned with the autopsy. I would love if the authorities would have a family member present at the autopsy to confirm that he had no gunshot residue or powder burns on his hands, and that would prove my son is innocent, he said. No date has yet been set for the autopsy by government pathologists. Angel Doulas, whose real name is Devon Douglas, was born in Washington Gardens in St. Andrew. He attended Jamaica College and later relocated to Seaview Gardens. A former member of the Worm Dem crew, he is also a songwriter on Damian Marley's Grammy-winning Stony Hill album. He is credited as penning Bounty Killer's Book. He has been working with Marley's Ghetto Youths International label for the past few years. Launched in August 2010, Indicom is an independent non-police agency with the power to investigate allegations of misconduct filed by members of the public against the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and its auxiliaries. British man killed in St. James was known UK criminal, says police. The police high command says the British national who was killed in Montego Bay, St. James on Monday was a known figure in the criminal underworld in Britain. Deputy Commissioner in charge of crime Fitz Bailey said the man, 33-year-old Sean Patterson, had an extensive criminal record which included narcotics, violence, and firearm offenses. DCP Bailey said a contract, which the police believe emanated from Britain, was taken out on the life of Patterson, who was killed at a guest house in Bogue Hill, St. James. He noted that there is no evidence Patterson was robbed or that he had any connections in Jamaica. DCP Bailey added that the suspect arrested in connection with the killing was deported from the UK in 2013. He said local police are working with international partners to investigate the case. Patterson and another Briton had arrived in Jamaica on December 29.
Information received. Shane Patterson is well known to the UK authorities and has an extensive criminal record for a number of offences which include narcotics, violence, and firearm. Our investigation so far has theorized that the murder was a contract killing that emanated from Britain. There is no evidence that Patterson was robbed or has any connection in Jamaica. The investigation is making significant progress, and we are working with our international partners.
Cashier charged for giving credit on horse racing bets gets a bail. A former employee at a betting shop in Portmore, St. Catherine, who allegedly credited more than $700,000 to a customer without authorization, has been granted $350,000 bail. Maxine McKennis, a 52-year-old cashier of a Portmore address, appeared in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Wednesday on a charge of larceny as a servant. When the matter was mentioned in the court, her attorney argued that McKennis had no criminal intent, nor did she benefit from the transaction. She told the court her client is not a flight risk and will comply with the bail conditions. Bail was granted on condition that McKennis surrender her travel documents and report 3 times weekly at the Spanish Town police station. It is alleged that between December 24 and December 27, 2022, McKennis credited $718,000 in horse racing bets to a man. She was reportedly warned after crediting an initial amount of $170,000 and allegedly stated that it would be repaid. However, the accused allegedly credited an additional $548,000, which was uncovered during an audit. McKennis was subsequently charged by the Portmore police after a report was made. Police officer charged in cooking oil theft case returns to court Monday. The police corporal implicated in a multi-million-dollar cooking oil theft is to return to the St. Catherine Parish Court on Monday for a bail application. Detective Corporal Maurice Whittingham, 35, is charged with robbery with aggravation and kidnapping. His co-accused 34-year-old construction worker, Michael Daly, is also facing similar charges. The duo appeared in court Tuesday and were remanded until February 7. Whittingham's lawyer, Vincent Wellesley, is charging that his client was taken to court on Tuesday without his knowledge. On Wednesday, he returned to court and asked the judge to bring his client's case forward to facilitate an earlier bail application, and the judge complied. The February 7 date was fixed after the judge was informed that investigators are still probing the case, including searching for other suspects. Allegations are that on Saturday, December 17, 2022, Whittingham and Daly, who was reportedly dressed in police paraphernalia, stopped a delivery truck along the Spanish Town bypass in St. Catherine. The truck, which is owned by Seprod Limited, was laden with cooking oil valued at more than $3 million. It is alleged that Whittingham approached the driver of the truck and asked about his data entry record, and took him to a Honda motor car. The truck, along with the sidemen, was then driven to an unknown location. The truck was later located in the community of Thetford, which is located near Old Harbor. A subsequent report was made and an investigation was launched, which resulted in the arrest of Whittingham and Daly. Further investigation led to them being charged. Government pushing to have more local components in animal feed. The government has restated its commitment to have more locally produced components in animal feed. This comes after farmers complained bitterly of a shortage of animal feed in the lead up to the Christmas season. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Pernell Charles Jr. says it is important that the country relies less on external providers of critical farming inputs, especially as the Grow Smart, Eat Smart initiative is ramped up.
That bag of feed is made up of several components. Our goal is to, for instance, hypothetically move the percentage of local components from 10 to 60. Not that we're trying to say we're going to replace the bag of feed, but we want to have more control over what is in that bag of feed. And let's say we can't get some of the things, we need to have local alternatives, even if they are more expensive. So that's starting now. I can't give you a timeline to say, well, in 2 months we can tell you. We're doing the research around that. We started the research on that from last year, but we're driving it in a more aggressive way since last year because, again, the Grow Smart, Eat Smart requires us to have more control and management of our operations. It is my hope, my intention, that come December, we would be able to look back and be able to show in a tangible way, here are the achievements when it comes on to Jamaica controlling this aspect of the agricultural operation. And that would mean that we're going to look back and say, here are the operations we had in terms of expanding from 50 acres of grass to X amount of acres. Here's the research that we're doing, even if the research has not created a product yet, but here's the movement in terms of progression for that research for us to identify exactly how this local material can be used to substitute this imported material. Farmers have direct contact with RADA, direct contact with AIC, direct contact with several agents. JAS is an important body that needs to have a relationship with the ministry and every single agency, whether they are on the board or not. And my role and responsibility is to make sure that the space is created for them to have that. There's several things that could be done. They could be invited to meetings, they could be co-opted to meetings, several things. But I don't think there's any requirement to mandate them. And I certainly reject the positioning that would give people the impression that something is wrong or that there is some kind of nefarious reason why JAS is not on the board.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.